Hello, welcome to this week's Forex Outlook here at xm.com. My name is Rafi Barjan, currency analyst, and here with me is our chief economist, Michalis Sorenjadis. So, Michalis, we saw a significant recovery in risk appetite this week. We had a lot of trade optimism following those talks between the US and China, even though we didn't really get to hear much specifics as to what was agreed. We then had a number of Fed speakers, including Fed Chief Jerome Powell, and all of that has been negative on the US dollar. So can you explain in more detail what happened and what the other main market drivers?
I think we are seeing a theme that has taken hold since the beginning of the year. So 2019, one can say, has started on the right foot with some gains for investors and the recovery in risk appetite. But of course, this is taking a bit of a toll on the US dollar, because part of the reason that we're seeing this recovery is the realization that the Fed could be more flexible in its policy, and more flexible means that it could hold off from any rate hikes and maybe even modify its tightening schedule and the balance sheet reduction. Although Chairman Powell did not make that certain as from his remarks the previous day. And I think that what you talked about, also the talks between China and the US, they seem to be progressing in a positive spirit, although we haven't had concrete signs of progress for that. So this has seen particularly the foreign exchange pairs that are very sensitive to risk and commodities, particularly the Aussie, the Kiwi, and the Loonie, although the Loonie is more tied to the recovery in the oil price, doing very, very well this week. So part of it is a story that commodities are doing also well, and there are better expectations for trade talks. So I think this is the more or less the environment that we find ourselves relatively positive. We'll see whether this is going to continue or whether the falls are going, or the bears are going to reassert themselves in the coming weeks. In the meantime, what do we have to look for next week, Rafi?
Well, it's going to be fairly quieter on the data front. Inflation is going to be the main release coming out of Canada, Japan, the Eurozone, the final ones, and the UK. Retail sales are also going to be in focus. We've got retail sales numbers from the UK and the US, but the bigger focus will probably be on that crucial Brexit vote in the British Parliament on Tuesday. So Theresa May's Theresa May's deal is expected to be voted down. Of course, we can't discount a surprise passing of the bill, given that the opposition is threatening a general election. So perhaps the Conservative Party will unite behind Theresa May's deal. But all in all, we are expecting a lot of volatility for sterling, mainly as to what's going to happen after, if as expected, her deal gets voted down, and then what are going to be the alternatives.
So absolutely, it looks like May's gambit to delay this vote does not seem to have been successful, although of course surprises are always possible, and the focus will be what is going to be the next day after the deal gets voted down. And at the same time, we'll have to be watching, of course, the important data that are going to come out, their impact on monetary policy, and whether this positive risk appetite is going to continue, particularly now that we are soon entering earnings season. We did have this warning from Apple, so it will be interesting to see whether other companies share kind of a more cautious view, or if they are optimistic given the global economic background. So thank you very much for your input, Rafi. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a great day.